War of the Undead tells the story of monsters fighting to stop the most insane rescue mission in history.
A world of death awaits us.
This feature-length audio drama comes with hours of bonus features, including a second parody version of the story.
A world of death awaits us, dumbass.
And a downloadable PDF of the graphic novel that started it all. Pick up War of the Undead on Audible and tellemstevedave.com.
For adults with Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms, every choice matters. Tremfya offers self-injection or intravenous infusion from the start. Tremfya is administered as injections under the skin or infusions through a vein every 4 weeks, followed by injections under the skin every 4 or 8 weeks. If your doctor decides that you can self-inject Tremfya, proper training is required. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Explore what's possible. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more, or visit tremfyaradio.com.
We're gonna carry on and plan the sequel, because let's face it, baby, these days, you gotta have a sequel.
And welcome back to Microqueers. It's our sporadic queer horror movie roundup, and I'm Joe.
And I'm Trace, and we are discussing Mathieu Morel's Anapidae, parentheses, Call Me, close parentheses. A movie about, I'm going to say, grief and a parasitic spider.
Yeah, I have questions about whether or not this spider is real.
Yeah, this whole, I was going to call it a short, but it's 40 minutes long. So it's like between a short and a feature. What is the novella of a film?
It's just that. You've just named it.
Yeah, it's the novella of a film. This is very art housey to me. So I did view the spider as a metaphor.
Yes, and I think you're right. This is principally about grief. It's about somebody who can't let go. Well, actually, several characters who can't let go. But yeah, folks, this is mostly notable because it is produced by one Jan Gonzalez, who, of course, folks should recognize from Knife Plus Heart, a.k.a. the best queer film of the century.
Yes, director of that. I believe he also wrote it as well. So yeah, I think when we saw his name come across our email, we were like, oh, jump at this opportunity to watch this film. And
yes,
it is horror-like. There are definitely horror elements to it, but
sure.
At the end of the day, this is what this movie's about, everyone. So we have a man named Mino, played by Thomas Ducasse. He is the gatekeeper at a secluded village cemetery where he lovingly cares for the dead, visiting mourners, and also, inexplicably, a giant spider.
Yes.
So when the eccentric Maya, played by Julie Morel, appears, the pair are drawn to one another by the ghost of a man, Noé, played by Fabien Berthaud, a man they once loved. And the movie is kind of like not really divided into chapters, but we get these intertitles of what seems to be a mortician's report on Noé's body and the reveal at the end of how he died.
Yeah. Okay, so maybe before we dive into it, Trace, this is a novella of a film, so it's a bit more of a substantial investment if people do or don't want to check it out. Would you recommend this movie?
It's a light recommend. I think this is a thing where, like, I found myself captivated by this, but I wouldn't really want to rewatch it.
Right.
So maybe that. Yeah, it's a light recommend for me. I think I will remember it if only for, again, the spider is just such an odd inclusion in this, even though I do think I get the metaphor.
Yes, and folks, we should note that if you have arachnophobia, this is not a movie for you, even though I would argue that the large spider, which does get larger as the film progresses, I don't think it's meant to be convincingly realistic. Like, it very much looks somewhere like a mix between animatronic and maybe a puppet, yeah, with some augmented CGI elements, but it's still realistic enough that if you were triggered by spiders, avoid at all costs.
Yeah, I think the first appearance of it, when it's first crawling on Mino in bed, I think that's an actual spider. And then every time after that, yeah, we get whatever the fake version of it is. Because again, I mean, this thing is getting ridiculously big. I also looked this up. Anapidae are actually a species of very small spider. Like very few of them are bigger than 2 millimeters in width.
Okay, yeah. So again, the very obvious read is that the spider is representative of Mino's grief over his dead lover or the person he loved. It's really not explicitly clear whether they had a physical relationship. I'm leaning more towards that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't think this is explicitly just gay. I think this is actually bisexual because we do have a wife. The wife has a couple of kids. So clearly Noé was in a marriage that produced children, but then was either stepping out or doing some other stuff. Anyway, but yeah, I think the spider we learn is also his, like this dead man Noé's. He had a tarantula. So when we're seeing a real tarantula, I think that's meant to be, oh, Mino took the fucking tarantula as a memento of his lover, and then it gets bigger the more he can't process his grief.
Right. And we are kind of like highlighting the spider front and center. The spider's actually not really the focus of the film, at least not plot related, because basically we have Mino and Maya. They kind of meet, they do meet at the gravesite of Noé, and they kind of develop a relationship that begins platonically and eventually is consummated by the film's end.
Yeah, but even that, I would argue, feels more like they're trying to find the missing person who has brought them together. Like, I don't think it's a genuine, we're attracted to each other. It's, I'm attracted to your grief.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, when they fuck, I was like, well, this is really awkward. And it feels like that afterwards. But then, I mean, it seems like that was kind of like the twist of the knife for Mino, because the spider, I'm assuming it is implied, consumes him by the end of this film.
Yeah, because when Maya shows up at the end, he's just, he's wrapped up in cobwebs, and that's sort of the end of him. Trace, what did you think of Ducasse's performance in the lead here? Because in some ways, this man is not fully inscrutable, but it's not a very verbose performance. Like, there's a lot of interiority here.
Yeah, he wasn't really the standout for me. And I feel like maybe it's cliche for me, or obvious for me to say, well, no, Morel is the standout because she gets the most dialogue. And
she's just so big, right?
Very much so. Very eccentric. But I guess then I should really think about that, because it makes Mino the more difficult role to portray.
I think so.
Because, I mean, as an actor, it's like, well, I don't have any words to convey how I'm feeling, so I have to just, like, convey them. And so I think it'll sit with me. I mean, I did just watch this before we recorded, so it's fresh on my mind. But I do think it's a film or a performance that would sit with me long afterwards. Whereas Maya's, I'm like, okay, that's the standout here because she talks the most.
Yeah, and as you said, she is eccentric. So she shows up, she will not shut the fuck up. She is so awkward in that it feels like she's almost trying to fill all the silence because she just doesn't know what to say, because she clearly knows who Mino is, whereas for him, she's this woman who shows up and wants to plant flowers at her husband's gravesite, and obviously he would know that she existed, but they've never actually met, whereas it feels like she has purposely come to the cemetery to encounter him so that she can get to know who is my husband stepping out on me with.
Yes, but it's not kind of your typical, like, oh, she's really upset and jealous and blah, blah, blah.
No.
It's more so, like you said, like she's attracted to his grief. And so I think in this situation, it's a thing where it's like, okay, well, I didn't know this part of my husband, and now that he's dead, revealed later to be a suicide, I think I want to meet this person that he was potentially stepping out on me with, so I can get that part of him. Like, I can know that part of him.
Yeah. And folks, this all sounds relatively straightforward, but as Trey suggested, there are intertitles, there's voiceover that you can't always pinpoint into who is talking. Sometimes you're like, is that Mino? Is that the spider?
Right.
Is that Noé? We're getting dream sequences that are a little bit hallucinatory and surreal because, yes, Mino has been bitten by the spider and his wound gets progressively worse, so he becomes, I guess, less tethered to reality and more prone to having episodes as the film progresses. So if you've seen Knife Plus Heart, it does feel like that in certain regards, where there's a dreamlike quality to a lot of this.
Well, and I think the most striking scene for me is, again, I think this is a dream sequence because he wakes up from a bite shortly afterwards, a much bigger bite, but it's where he's essentially fucking a skeleton, skeleton that is a stand-in for Noé. And I thought that was I thought it was real at first, but then again, like the way it's edited is like, oh no, this is like his like spider bite hallucinatory dream. But
right.
Either way, it's his grief visualized, probably more so than any other scene in the film, as he's again fucking the skeleton of his dead lover.
I'm not so sure that it is completely fake. I think we're meant to be uncertain, but isn't part of the report that parts of the body has gone missing? Like, because, oh no, sorry, it's not explicitly that. It's Maya shows up and Mino is wearing the shirt that Noe was buried in. And it's like, so maybe he did dig up the body. Maybe that is a real skeleton, because it's a year later.
So then the other, like, much more depressing version of this is that Mino didn't have a relationship with this man and just dug up his body.
I suppose you could read it that way. I don't choose to read it that way, but also I'm not sure that I completely buy the suicide element, because it's basically the last reveal that comes out in this film. So, like, we essentially hit the 42 minute mark, and then it's, you know, and the final results is he died by suicide. And I think it's meant to be either a gut punch that this man died and left these two people who were so in love with him, and you think, oh wow, that's almost more terrible. But initially I paused and thought, are we meant to read that Mino killed him, maybe, because he was so jealous?
I didn't get that, but I mean, again, like, I feel like there's not enough information fully given in here for me to really, like, shut down that as an interpretation of this.
Right. Yeah. So much of it is very uncertain. Very
much so. So, I mean, again, I think this is a very interesting film. Whenever we've covered a short film in the past, we've always said, you know, like, would you watch a feature-length version of this? And this is close to feature-length. And I would watch a feature-length version of this, but given how abstract this is, I don't think a feature-length version would necessarily make things more explicit. I think it would still retain this vibe.
Yeah. And I'm not sure. I will admit my attention wandered at times over the course of this 44 minutes. I didn't mind it, but like you said, I'm not in a huge rush to revisit it. I could imagine if you're one of those folks who puts things on in the background and keeps the sound off and just let your attention, you know, sort of be attracted to the visuals at different times, I think this film could really serve as a bit of a mood piece. I'm interested to see what Mathieu Morel will do in the future. If he's got the backing of Jan Gonzalez, it is possible that we may see a feature from him in the future. And I think this is more of a one to watch as opposed to, I really enjoyed this film, I strongly recommend it. Like, if you're curious, seek it out. But if not, I kind of feel like we will see something more from this man in the future.
Yeah, I think for me, I really do enjoy stories of two people, like this idea of two people who don't know each other, who lost the same person, who are kind of like reveling in their grief. Not reveling in their grief, but they're sharing in their grief together and becoming and forming a connection because of that. And we get hints to what it is here. And granted, I mean, given Mino's end in this film, I guess it wouldn't really continue, but I wouldn't mind seeing how their relationship would be expanded upon before his untimely demise.
Yeah, because I think one of the other ways to sort of read their union, I mean, I think we're on the right track in saying that they're trying to fill a void that is absent in both of their lives. But I think you could also, you know, add on 10 or 15 minutes to this, take out the part where Mino essentially gets killed by either the spider or his grief, and he becomes a kind of surrogate father to these kids, a surrogate husband to the dead man. And I think that that's a weird, twisted, alternative way to see this story continuing into the future.
Yeah, no, for sure. But overall, I mean, y'all, check this out. As Joe said, it's a bit over 40 minutes long, so it's more of a time commitment than one of our regular horror shorts that we cover. But I think there's some technical talent on display here.
Yeah, interesting film.
Yeah, very much so. But until next time, everyone, we can cross out Anapidae, call me.
Indeed. Cross out microqueers.
War of the Undead tells the story of monsters fighting to stop the most insane rescue mission in history.
A world of death awaits us.
This feature-length audio drama comes with hours of bonus features, including a second parody version of the story.
A world of death awaits us. dumbass.
and a downloadable PDF of the graphic novel that started it all. Pick up War of the Undead on Audible and tellemstevedave.com.
I won't let my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis symptoms define me.
Emerge as you. In 2 clinical studies, Tremfya guselkumab, taken by injection, provided 90% clear skin at 16 weeks in 7 out of 10 adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis. In a study, nearly 7 out of 10 patients with 90% clearer skin at 16 weeks were still clearer at 5 years. At 1 year and thereafter, patients and healthcare providers knew that Tremfya was being used. This may have increased results. Results may vary.
Serious allergic reactions may occur. Tremfya may increase your risk of infections and lower your ability to fight them. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms of infection, including fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough. Tell your doctor if you had a vaccine or plan to.
Emerge as you. Learn more about Tremfya, including important safety information at tremfya.com or call 1-877-578-3527. See our ad in Food & Wine magazine. For patients prescribed Tremfya, cost support may be available.